Next up, we have Omega Parts from OWC 2020 Standard Grand Final Tiebreaker by Camellia, featured in OSU, as far as I understand. Once again, everybody, this is a Basterd's LFA, a layman-friendly analysis. I'm a professionally trained musician, a composer, and my objective here is to explain things in a way so that you don't have to be one to understand what's happening here musically. So, if you like the sound of that, make sure you're following the channel, subscribe to the channel, whatever term you want to use, like the video, share the video, leave a comment, turn on notifications, become a member, one of them paid subscriptions, support this channel as much as you want, but not at your own expense. Two disclaimers. Number one, this is my first time hearing this track ever, so I will be pausing a lot, as I will be pointing things out and explaining things as I hear them or as I realize them. And number two, this is recorded live on stream on a single take. So I might stumble upon my words here and there. Whatever happens, happens. With that being said, let's do this. Omega Parts. Let's see what you got. Okay, so we start with a piano, some vocals, vocal samples pretty much high up above, and yeah, there we go. It's also and a piano, very, very fast piano. I do wonder if Camellia actually plays the piano on these, because these are some insanely difficult piano parts we've heard from Camellia. Either way, let's see where this goes, because it's a cool intro. Let's see where this goes. Some chimes with the piano. So yeah, we're doing a kind of orchestral thing, because that's a glockenspiel right there. Very beautiful melody, giving us a very beautiful motif. So the motif being the smallest version of the musical idea, the seed, the essence from which everything else can come from. And in this case, we're having a call and response between the glockenspiel doing the motif and the piano doing an accompaniment to that in a very playful manner, completely contrasting the like super epic sound of the start, giving us some very interesting tonal whiplash before we have even started. Let's see where this goes. And there's those vocals still there. So now we are engaging in a doubling. We are developing the motif further. The glockenspiel is still doing its thing. The piano is still doing its thing. We add an electric guitar. We add a percussion to add more drama to this whole thing, doing what is called a doubling. So we have the doubling going on with the guitar playing the middle ground. So it's not an exact one-to-one doubling, but the guitar is playing the middle ground between what the glockenspiel is playing and what the piano is playing, giving us this very odd, unusual bridge between the two. This is very fascinating. So let's see where it goes. Further developing the motif, yeah. Okay, one more note. We do the cadence. Bring down the piano. Okay, so now we bring back the percussion a little bit more active. This time we have a bass line. The bass giving us it almost sounds subsonic. Almost subsonic. It's really, really low bass, playing extremely low notes that you can pretty much just feel. Subsonic means that it's outside of the range of human hearing. Us as humans, we can hear anywhere between 20 hertz and 20,000 hertz. Subsonic would mean anything below that. So this one would be very close to that. It sounds very, very close to it. It sounds extremely low. And of course, we are getting these audio samples, distorted audio samples of vocals, which could be a variation of what we heard before. It sounds like spoken word being distorted by some sort of filter. Let's see where it goes. Now we're getting, there we go. That's, ooh. Okay, and now we bring in the electronic the electronic drums with the bass having a doubling with a choral, like with a chorus. You know, we're having vocals. Welcome back, Coconut. We're having a chorus doubling those really, really cool rhythms that we're getting now. Very cool way of transitioning forward. We're still not quite getting the motif again, but I don't think it's been fully necessary so far. Let's just see where it goes. So a lot of accents. Ooh. And always with Camellia doing the chopping and rhythmic displacements. That we heard right there, that moment of silence, that's called rhythmic displacement, where you just push things just a little bit further to give it that extra sense of like misstep, mishap, forcing that movement forward. It's insane. Let's see where it goes. We stabilize the rhythm a little bit, and completely non-functional. Completely non-functional, built entirely to build up the thing. So what do I mean by non-functional? So when it comes to music, you have three elements. You have melody, harmony, rhythm. And when it comes to harmony is like a meta thing, because that's just what chords you're using, what melodies, what scales, like that is the relationship with it, everything that isn't rhythm, right? Like it's the extrapolation of everything. And there are basically two types of harmony. There's functional harmony and there's non-functional harmony. Functional harmony is when the chords make sense, when the melodies make sense within the chords, and where things lead to one another, when things have natural cadences. Cadence, okay, so once again, when you're making music, you're doing one of two things. You're building tension or you're resolving tension. The point in between we call cadence. So, when it comes to cadences, we have functional harmony, which makes these happen naturally. This is chord progressions, melodies that lead into one another. My speech pattern has functional cadences, because you can hear when I am not done with a sentence. And even if I take a breath in between my speaking the sentence, you know that I'm not done until I'm done. Because that's the cadence that I have, the inflection of my voice. That's why accents such as the California Valley can be fairly annoying, because the cadence of those accents are completely wrong, because they always sound like you're asking a question, and they all go upwards, and there's no natural cadence to them. So cadence is extremely important. So you have functional harmony that does that, and then you have non-functional harmony, which is pretty much everything else. And how are we using non-functional harmony here? We're making everything sound like a mess, like an incoherent mess, but we still have the one synth bringing us up towards that point of cadence. So there is still, among the chaos, we are still getting at least one layer that is still building that natural cadence, but it's sliding through all the notes, so you can get away with engaging in non-functional harmony and making this. And the piano is also playing through some of the chords, kind of keeping a semblance of the functional harmony, but it's so high up that it's very difficult to tell between the notes. And of course, there's just so much noise being put here that it makes it difficult to hear as well. Let's see where it goes. Okay, we bring back the drums. Okay, and again, we drop the beat. Really cool dropping of the beat. And when it comes to electronic music, dropping the beat is one of the most freeform things that you have. Again, when it comes to music, there's a lot of structures, there's a lot of rules, common practices, and a lot of these can go out the window for some somewhat specific places. Number one, a solo. If you get a solo, you can put almost anything you want in the solo, and as long as it sounds nice, it sounds good, it works. You can bring completely unrelated material, it doesn't matter. For genres like metal, a breakdown, you can do the same. You can bring completely unrelated material You can bring something completely new, and as long as it sounds good enough and it sounds like it fits, then it fits, and that's it. Even if functionally, harmonically, or motifically, it doesn't fit, you're not using the motif or anything. If it sounds good, it sounds good. And with electronic music, is dropping the beat. You can do pretty much anything you want. And what Camellia is doing is we brought in a somewhat new beat, but we're still bringing back those stingers with the accents of the chorus and the orchestra. Let's see where it goes. Let's go with the piano. I love that the audio sample says once again, and we do something completely different. We're building that synth back up. We bring back the chorus. And we're speeding it up. Now we're speeding it up. We're engaging. We're just speeding it up. Let's see where it goes. Another dropping of the beat. And we are still engaging on that really epic chorus motif, rhythmic motif with those accents really, really good. And we're just mixing the dropping of the beat with that. So we're introducing the new material by dropping the beat, having these really, really cool electronic moments. And on top of that, we are still sprinkling that to give you that sense of familiarity. Really good balance. Really good balance to be had. Let's where it goes. Extra audio samples. Yeah, we included these moments there. There you go. There's that synth going back up. And yeah, no, like a lot of these beats, it's very erratic. It's almost incoherent, and it's very unpredictable. But it's happening with those hits still hitting, and we're still getting those moments of familiarity where we don't get overwhelmed. We don't end up thinking like, oh, I'm just gonna tune out kind of thing. This hits really well. This is very, like, again, Camellia often just is very much on that line, but it's a very unusual rhythm, and this is all syncopation. This is all syncopation. Like, we're going against the expected rhythm, and it's happening in such a creative way that we are still getting the expected rhythms every once in a while, but everything else around them aren't. And that is a pretty tricky balance to achieve, and Camellia is pulling it off really, really well. And every once in a while we get either the piano or the chorus, so we are bringing back those motifs, and we are sprinkling them. It's just really cool. Antonio, welcome today. How you doing? There it is again. We're having the lower synth echo that rhythm. We increase the speed again. Increase the speed. Now we're doing the whole thing. Rhythmic displacement. Speed it up. Speed it up. Speed it up. Speed it up. And again. 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 Ooh. Now that was a cool way of delaying. So there's a lot of rhythmic displacement over here, and this time, instead of using silence, we used a residual audio from those samples to bring this here. The speeding up, that's a risky move. Let's see how it pays off. Very glitchy. And even though it's so glitchy sounding, we've sped everything up, we are still keeping those motifs relatively untouched. They're faster now, but they're relatively untouched. And they're still hitting when we would expect them to hit. So even though we are now extremely fast and it's extremely glitchy sounding, there are so many things about it that just sound wrong. But because we're still landing on that familiarity every other beat, it still sounds right. It's a very fascinating. This is a very, very fascinating thing. Bringing that synth back up. All right, there you go. Complete non-functional. This is what I'm talking about, dropping the beat. Now, right now, by now, it's been 3.5 minutes. I am starting to experience diminishing returns. So at this point, yes, these are really, really cool droppings of the beat. And we are still using the same trick. But we've been doing the same trick for 3.5 minutes. We're just exploring different variations of it, which the variations themselves are pretty cool. There's very little connection in the sense of there's the common threads that we are seeing are being overplayed a little bit. This is when you need a contrasting section. This is when you would need a contrasting section. You would need some sort of new material that you can still base off of the original material, something like that, and give that a little bit of focus. I think an issue here is that we're not letting any of this breathe, and it can get suffocating. As a result, it is kind of getting suffocating. Let's just see how it plays out, because it could just be that the piece is about to calm down entirely, and I'm just get to shut up, right? So let's see where it goes. Okay, we're increasing the tension again with the synth going up. There we go. There we go. I said we needed it, and Camellia provided. There we go. We are giving a moment of respite, a moment to just breathe in, process what we just heard. Because one of the things about, again, when you're making music, you want to keep a very careful balance between what is familiar and what is new. Too much familiarity, too much repetition, you risk boring the listener, they tune out. Too much new material too quickly, you risk overwhelming the listener, they tune out. And I was getting overwhelmed. I was very much getting overwhelmed. These are really, really cool things to hear, but it gets overwhelming. And now we've decided to just calm things down, let the beat breathe a little bit. Let's see where it goes. We bring back the glockenspiel and the piano in this is called reduction, by the way. It's faster than before. It's still the same material we heard before. It's just happening a lot faster than it did before. It counts. For me, it counts. I know that by now, Camellia is making like electronic music on speed, crack, and cocaine at the same time. So the music is extremely high on these. It's not going to slow down that much, but we still had that moment of just being able to breathe. And that alone, yeah, it counts. Let's see where it goes. Yep, we're doing a recapitulation. We bring it. This is a reduced recapitulation. So reduction, again, it's faster. Recapitulation, we are doing pretty much the same thing we did at the start, but it's just playing faster. So it is a fresh way of presenting it's a pretty fresh way of presenting old material, because now it's sped up, because everything else got sped up. Let's see where it goes, because we still have 2 more minutes, so almost 3 minutes of this. Let's see where it goes. Yep, same thing. Recapitulation a lot faster. Same thing happening, yep. Yeah, we're straight up repeating the first half of the track. Just faster. Yeah, makes sense. Oh, we got this, yeah. Insanely fast, yep. And it seems we've switched out some of the vocal tracks, we've switched out some of the things, so it's not a one-to-one recapitulation. Structurally, it's pretty much the same. We've now just introduced this other synth, giving us the melody, which I think is a variation of the motifs we heard from the glockenspiel and the piano and the guitar, and it's just being replayed. So yeah. Now, insane. Yeah, we'll be exploring a lot of the material. yeah, we're pretty much letting everything else play the exact same, just sped up. We're adding the extra piano, we're adding the extra synth. It works. It works. My limit for listening to me is 1 hour before I get migraines. That's bad. If somebody's music gives you a migraine, that is a big detrimental. That's a big detriment for the composer, in my opinion. Welcome back, value user. If I've only gotten migraine from a single composer in my life, Ligeti. I went to see his concerto for Ocarina. I walked out of the auditorium. It was in the Boston Symphony Hall. It was, I think it was both Mozart, Beethoven, and Ligeti. And it was like Mozart played, then it was Ligeti, then it was Beethoven. And his piece gave me a headache. And I walked out. So, no, I'm liking this one, but Meklikalo just said that if the limit is 1 hour before you get migraines. If a musician's music gives you migraines, that, I think, it does not speak in a good light of the musician. And the thing is, Camellia has a very, very loud style. And a lot of electronic music like this, like the hardcore electronic music, has that. That you can only listen to it so much before the physicality of this, the physical elements of it, actually end up physically altering. It's like hearing subsonic sounds. For example, if you want to set a proper horror and actually instill primal fear in your listener, play subsonics. Like, play audio that is under 20 hertz, and the more the person is exposed to that audio, the more horror that person is going to feel. And it's a thing that the more you're exposed to it, the more it happens. So there are ways to balance these things out. And in Camellia's case, this music is very loud. It's louder than my music, and I make orchestral melodic death metal. I growl in my music, and this is louder than my music. So in that sense, yeah, at a certain point, the overwhelming nature of this music is going to get to you. It probably gets to Camellia. Which is, to me, not a good thing. It doesn't take away from the composition, though. Let's see where it goes. Yeah, we got the piano going. Same thing, yep. Dropping the beat again. Now we bring in the chorus. Okay. Could be in headphones, yeah, could be in headphones. Okay. Yep. And in this case, we did change where the chorus was hitting. Like, the chorus now is hitting at the end of this whole section instead of at the start right next to the... Because the first time it was the guitar section, the whole thing, then the chorus. Now the chorus is at the end. And now we had a... let me go back a second or two. Let's see. Sensory overload. That is a good way to put it, Torts. Yes. Yep. Basically a full repeat. We speed it up, and we speed it up even more. We speed this up even more. I don't like this. This is obnoxious to me. Compositionally, this ended 3 minutes ago. I liked the little break that we got. I liked the recapitulation of the first part and everything. This is when you should start winding down. Let's see if it crashes. Let's see if what Camellia is doing, because there's two ways this goes, right? We're either going to continue building up, or we are building to break this down. Because right now, intensity-wise, we had we went in, we shot straight up, right? Like we had the intro with the Glockenspiel, the piano, really cool. We shot straight up. We got here, we dropped the beat, then we got up again. Then we dropped the beat, we got up again. Then we finally had that moment of respite, right? Then we started doing it even faster. And now, like this is not even. I'm gonna go it from lower, right? So we start. We go very high up. We bring it down. We go way higher, and then we start just dropping, bringing up. We have a moment of respite, and then we do the same thing but faster and louder and faster and louder. We had a quick moment, faster and louder, faster and louder. Now there are two ways this can go. It can just go off the chart, or we are building to actually bring it all down. Depending on where this goes, is depending on where this goes. Let's see where it goes. Because right now the difference is that the one melodic synth is playing at the older rhythm, while everything else is now incoherent. Let's see where it goes. There you go, it's breaking down. Never mind. And now it just sounds like the song is having a panic attack. No, it sounds like the track is having a panic attack. So we had a moment of breakdown, and we took it even higher. And we took it even higher. And we're taking it even higher. And at this point, it is simply unwise to do it. It is simply unwise to do this. This is sensory overload. So, welcome tiebreaker songs have that a lot. That's not a good thing. Alright, how are you going to end this, though? We bring that? Because, yeah, we are just doing... And the problem isn't so much that the composition keeps escalating, but we are taking the composition, we are speeding it up, we're putting it again, and then we're adding the synth to it to say that it's different. Which technically... And it just keeps escalating, and it just keeps escalating, and it just keeps escalating. Let me see how it ends. There we go, and we finally hit a high point. We finally hit it. Let me just hear it. We have the chorus part. Yep. And there we go. We release one last time, and everything. Yeah, this should have ended 2 minutes ago. Would the point be to make the listener uncomfortable or anxious? Look, if you want to make your listener uncomfortable, your music needs to have a purpose but beyond the music. That is when you bring in functional music, like horror music, atonal music, that kind of thing. This is in Osu. This was in like you can see here, right? Like it's Osu World Cup 2020. And my understanding is this is some sort of like rhythm-based game. So functionally for a stage like that, it would make sense. However, this as a musical composition, this ended in like minute 3.5. And then it was repeating the whole track just faster. And repeating and doing that twice. So that here is the problem wasn't so much that it happened, is that it had diminishing returns, and then we ended up with sensory overload. So that is a lot of risks of taking, because once again, familiar, new. The problem is, if the familiar is loud and very, very stuff. Yeah, there's 2 omega symbols. Yeah, there you go. There's 2 omega symbols. Therefore, this is going to be loud and very, very loud. So I can see why these things happened. I didn't like it. So I liked the first half. And the problem was that the second half was the same thing. I found the melody in the second half a cool thing. The problem is it was so loud. It was louder than my music, and I make death metal. Like, that to me is like that's impressive. First off, that's impressive to have that and being able to still keep everything like that. But the problem is, you're not playing any of this live. You're not playing any of this live. You're composing this and then hitting the spacebar, right? So that, to me, that is one of the reasons why I don't listen that much to electronic music, because it's very rare when you see an electronic music artist play everything live, because usually it's going to be like the transition between songs, not so much the actual stuff that happens itself, right? So Camellia got the nickname as Rhythm Game's worst nightmare. I can see that. And like compositionally, this was extremely complex. I think Camellia should have gotten drug tested before and after the competition, because this sounds like, again, the ending sounds like like you're having a bad trip while on cocaine, crack, and heroin at the same time. Not heroin, cocaine and crack cocaine, and speed. So it sounded like that, because at the end it just sounds like the track is screaming for help, which could be what Camellia was aiming for. And if that's the case, then mission accomplished. I didn't like how it sounded. I didn't like that. This is the first track that we've done where I just flat out did not like how it sounded. Like the first half, I could appreciate. The first half I could appreciate. I would have put the little break a little bit before. I did not like the second half. So yeah, there you go. I would not listen to this. Like in a game, in Osu or in like Geometry Dash and something like that, I can see this working. I've never played any of them, but I can see it working, because then the music is the medium to make something happen, and as a secondary thing, then the music is not something you have to listen to, it's something that you start experiencing. And there you go. Camellia, blink twice if you need help. I know, right? So yeah, no. So overall, I would say first half was pretty good. Second half, I did not like. I don't lie. So yeah, there you go. That was ΩΩPARTS by Camellia from the Osu World Cup 2020 tiebreaker. And apparently, this kind of thing happening in these World Cups is common. I see that as a detriment. So yeah, maybe I'm just a stranger to this land. Maybe it's just a foreign concept to me. But yeah, I don't. I fail to see. Maybe somebody can explain to me how these work and how these are seen as a good thing, because I'm failing to see it. I'm failing to see it. So yeah, there you go. Once again, everybody, this has been a Basterd's LFA, a layman-friendly analysis that I didn't enjoy. Like, I'm not saying, like, compositionally, this was very well made. Like, it was still very well made, and if Camelia's objective was sensory overload for the ending, mission accomplished, which I think for something like Osu, it makes sense to have it as a rhythm game for some sort of like super nightmare level. I didn't like how it sounded. I can appreciate the composition, because the composition itself was there. There were a lot of things going on. The rhythmic displacement, Camellia knows how to do it. The drops of the beat were very intense. I didn't like how it sounded. I didn't like how it sounded at the end. So yeah, that's just me. I don't have to like anything. You don't need me to like anything. We all have those opinions. Look, whenever you hear somebody say I don't like something, just remember, not even God is liked by everyone. So yeah, no. First half was very interesting. Second half was interesting. I just didn't like how it sounded. So once again, everybody, this was a Basterd's LFA layman-friendly analysis. I'm a professionally trained musician and composer. My objective here has been to explain things in a way so that you don't have to be one to understand what's happened here musically. So, if you're watching this in the video YouTube archive thing, thank you for watching. Make sure you're following the channel, subscribe to the channel, whatever term you want to use. Like the video, share the video, leave a comment, turn on notifications, become a member, all those good stuffs. If you want to listen to this without me interrupting every 30 seconds, I will be linking it down below in the description. If you want to request a song you're not on the stream, go to the Discord server, link down below, go to the LFA requests channel and follow the instructions on the pinned messages. And If you want to catch the streams when they happen live, we aim for Monday through Friday, 6 p.m. Central European Time. If you want to know what time that is in you, linked available down below is the Twitch and Discord. Shows the full schedule in your local time zone. And follow the gaming channel. We have a gaming channel, Games Are Basterd, link down below, or same username as James R. Basterd, we just swap the J for a G. That's where we put the VODs of our gaming streams after shows when they happen. And yeah, there you go. There you go. That was parts, Omega Parts by Camellia. Good for solid first half. Not big fan of the second one, but yeah, let's move on.